Here we go. UFC Saudi Arabia. Harry with Pro Schmo Bets. So, 1% of your gross income. That makes your bankroll. All right. $2,000. That's what we started with. All right. To start this year off. All right. Start this year off with $2,000, 1% of your gross income. Whatever that means to you, look it up. So take your annual income, 1% of that. That's what your bankroll should be. All right. We dropped a huge percent on Mackenzie Dern's spread. And this is what we had. So we had over $570 in winnings. And then we split the bankroll and we bet Jamal Hill, which was a bust. All right. So now we're moving on to Saudi Arabia. We're going to try and make good of these $2,000 and we're going to flip it. So we pretty much lost everything we made and it's time. And we're opening up the fight card with the main event. And then we're getting into the prelims. So we'll go over the main event with Adesanya and Nasruddin Imavov. Adesanya, man, incredible. He's an entrepreneur through his father who has a great real estate portfolio, good holdings, somewhere amassed of over $20 million. Guy fights Sean Strickland, loses a fight, fights Dricus du Plessis in all fights. He's looking great until he's not. Even the one with Alex Pereira, right? The first one. He's looking great until he's not. And he has a cardio problem. I think he has the same cardio issue that, can't really staple him in his legacy to the UFC because he does not work on it. Something like Khabib versus McGregor. McGregor did incredible. I think is the only fighter who ever took a round off Khabib. And guess what, folks? With no cardio for round 4 or 5, you're never winning a fight again. That's just the way it is. And I see the same here. All right, Nasruddin's strike sequences, shot selection, and the grappling. If you thought du Plessis could submit Adesanya, forget about it. Not only that, but it's time for Izzy Adesanya to move up to light heavyweight. I'd like him to rematch John Blachowicz and see if he could get something going in the light heavyweight division. But, gone are the days where he was competitive as a middleweight. It's also time. It's also time for Nasruddin Imavov, just like Adesanya as a striker, popped up out of nowhere and, was facing guys like Joel Romero, and no one believed in Israel Adesanya. The same could be said for Nasruddin Imavov, all right? There's much more to be said. If you want more information on it, the bet is clearly Nasruddin Imavov, proschmobets.com. You get a full summary, details, all right? Sign up, do what you have to do there. All right, we're going to move on now. We're moving on. We're going to the prelims, straight to the prelims. We have Hamdi Abdelwala versus Jamal Pogues. So this is a good fight, man. We've seen Dontel Mays face off with Hamdi 2 years ago. So Hamdi's back on the scene now, 2 years later. And so, he is an Olympic wrestler. And when you have watched footage of good scrambles and strike sequences, boxing, I don't know who his striking coach is, but man, Hamdi's got some good overhands. He's got power, and he drives his cardio through 3 rounds to, grapple his opponents, wrestle them, dominate them through ground control. You might want to take him here against Jamal Pogues, but you might not know that Pogues has been a MMA fighter his whole life, man. As a Thai boxer, as a kid, grappling as a kid, into his adult life. He is athletic, believe it or not. Like you saw Dontel Mays, right? There's some athleticism to his heavyweight frame. And I think Pogues is going to do well here, man. He holds the edge in this particular fight because of his size and reach. That's something to consider as well. And something that most people might not be sharing about this particular fight is that 90% of all the bets, 90% about all the votes on Tapology and any other website you can reference that has a community that votes on, what particular side would win and through what result, submission, knockout, or what have you, is on Hamdi Abdelwahab. That to me is appalling. All right, so Jamal Pogues on the money line. We'll move on now, and we'll take on the next fight here. All right, Bogdan Grad, Lucas Alexander. Bogdan Grad is a boxer. Attempted 2 stints en route to Contender Series and making a run so he could get a contract with the UFC. and he did well. He did well until I think he got a second fight in the UFC. It didn't pan out so much. Lucas Alexander now here, great striker, has people by his side training with him, mentors, coaches. I mean, from the pool that you can draw in Mike Davis, from the pool that you can draw in Phil Rowe, the pool you can draw in Terrence McKinney, who's going to be on the same fight card. How are you not taking Lucas Alexander at -120? Incredible. And yes, he is a very public bet, a very public opinionated winner, okay, between all cappers in the capping community and voters in the capping community for winning this fight. But it's okay. It's okay because Lucas Alexander just possesses the edge. And I mean, it's a boxer versus Thai boxer. I mean, this is self-explanatory, folks, all right? We're moving on. ProSchmoBets.com if you want the summary. Jasmine Jasudavicius, Mayra Bueno Silva. A lot of folks are going to be apprehensive about betting Jasmine Jasudavicius, especially as she's crossing time zones up the wazoo from Canada into Saudi Arabia. Now, here's the thing, guys, all right? Mayra Bueno Silva took this fight, not sure why, at flyweight. She might need the money. I'm not sure what the reason is, but she does not have a good record in that division. She's been stifled. She's been just suffocated through striking and grappling exchanges in that weight class that it's appalling to think that now she's facing Jasmine Jasudavicius, who's a strong power puncher. Some would even suggest would finish here. All she has to do is avoid the grappling exchanges, but at flyweight, Mayra Bueno Silva has a very, very difficult task ahead of her because of the cardio, man, that depleting cardio. She's also cutting down in that weight. Where's the power coming from? Where Jasmine Jasudavicius has been conditioned in this weight class for years now. All right, so Jasmine Jasudavicius confidently on the money line. Next, we're moving on. This is one of the most, no, not this fight, but I was going to say most intriguing of any on the fight card, but it's not. It's Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic, 38, nearly 39. Terrence McKinney signed a 6-year contract, a 6-fight deal with the UFC. Clearly, they threw him a bone here. All right, that's. I mean, what more do you guys want to hear? Terrence McKinney on the money line. There's absolutely no other way around it. Shamil Gaziev, everyone loves that this man can grapple and he can strike. Had issues with cardio. Guy's 34. Thomas Peterson faced off with Muhammad Usman. Great game planner. This guy has good strategies in the octagon. Cardio fails him. I think here Shamil's going to have a difficult time grappling with Thomas Peterson. And I think the strike exchanges are going to side with Thomas here. I don't know, man. What has Shamil got? A cross? An overhand? What is Thomas Peterson doing? Boxing him inside? Could he get Shamil down? 100%. Shamil off his back. You've seen what that looks like. It's not pleasant. Thomas Peterson, the man gets up, and he can use the wall to his advantage and clinch to his advantage. So I like Thomas Peterson here, man. Shamil Gaziev, though, if you did bet him, why not? The odds, if you want to better odds, determine a finish. Could Shamil submit Thomas Peterson? His best shot is to finish him on the feet. So if you bet Thomas Peterson, take the dog on the money line. If you bet Shamil, buy finish. Knockout. All right, let's see. Next. Here we go. ProSchmoBets.com. If you want the entirety of the fight card, summaries, details, very important details that we only provide the community. All right, like this here, Khan Ofli. Why do we have Mohamed Naimov? Why? Because Khan Ofli is fighting a weight class up. All right, he could not defeat Morion, the Ecuadorian fighter, Cuban fighter, Latin American fighter, and it is what it is. They're giving him an opportunity here, so that's great. It's cool that he's on here, but at featherweight, you've got to be kidding me. The guy is incredibly undersized. His wrestling will not do any favors here for him. His striking at all. It's Naimov 100%. All right, folks, so let's go. We'll continue. I think I get to cover My fight of the night. Fire Ziam Mike Davis. Man, this guy, Ziam, has proven to have no holes in his game. And he's developing exponentially. That is very incredible. That's something you do want to see in a fighter. Okay. When we took Mackenzie Dern over Amanda Ribas is because the striking has persisted the same. The power, the speed, the shot selections are all pretty much the same. We're not seeing anything blended. We're not seeing any chain wrestling. It is what it is. In this case, Fire ZM is way beyond that. Every fight, he's improving. The thing is, Mike Davis is in his prime. At 32 years of age, he's in his prime, folks. All right, so it's Mike Davis here or nothing. I'm telling you right now, Farziyam's a 27-year-old. He's incredibly young. Mike Davis's kicks are too strong. Farz has to find how to adjust to an aggressive, pressure forward, strong and powerful fighter like Mike Davis. Okay, he's as good on the ground as he is on the feet, and that's the side. That's the pick. Mike Davis confidently. Now we move on. Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius de Oliveira. All right, so folks, Said Nurmagomedov has a padded record. You might not hear this from any capper this week, but it's incredibly padded. He's fighting flyweights that fight in the bantamweight division. So let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, and his 2 losses on his record, I'm not impressed at all. 3 losses. I'm not surprised, I should say. Right, Jonathan Martinez being his most recent. Vinicius Oliveira has proven he's got a good sprawl. He can scramble on the ground, and he wants to get back on his feet. He's catching you to the body. He's countering you. He's pressuring you. And I think Said's going to have a difficult time with someone of this proportion, something that he's not used to. I don't think he's fought a fighter at his proportion as close to Jonathan Martinez, and you saw what happened there. So this, to me, is one of my most confident underdogs of the card. All right, we're moving on, and here we go. Sergey Pavlovich, Jairzinho, the southpaw, man. Big boy versus Sergey Pavlovich. Hey, Sergey Pavlovich, just one good overhand, he's putting Jairzinho out. If there's an under 2.5, take it. Under 1.5, Jairzinho's picked up some experience. And, yeah, guys, I think Sergey's going to want to start off slow just to avoid any issues. You don't want him, coming down on the mat too early in the first round, and then Jairzinho gets around by potential ground and pound finish or just control time. You don't want that. Jairzinho, nearly 37 years of age. Sergey Pavlovich, the heavyweight division needs him. This is clearly an obvious side, a money line. Let's go. And then we have Shara versus Michael Venom Page. Wow, I'm really impressed by Shara. You know, he's blind in one eye, but he's done so well against Michael Olejchuk. He's fought against Antonio Trocoli. He's fought just fighters that I can see could make up Michael Page's game here in speed and power and reach. And all of the fighters that Shara has put out or has fought to a decision, like Bruno Silva, have and possess, some ability that Michael Page will show in this fight. The thing that I like about this fight is that Shara has a particular edge in that Page is just throwing overhands. His defense is very vulnerable to Shara's counter attacks, and I think the low calf kick will help. The clinch game will help here for Shara, and Michael Page just his stance, his bounce karate style stances, going to assist Shara with being able to potentially point fight Michael Page through and through. If Michael Page were to win, it's by finish. Man, that's incredibly unlikely. Shara by decision. I highly doubt that Shara could finish Michael Page. So Michael can finish Shara, but Shara to finish Page, I can't see it. And the reason I say this is because Michael does load. He charges those overhands. He has good feints, and he could potentially get a puncher's chance here against Shara in the first round. Shara, in his previous 3 fights, likes to feel the power of his opponents. So what he does is he runs up against the wall, allows you to, possum to the wall, and then once he feels your power, he clinches you, and he will smirk, laugh about it like he has in previous fights. All right, so here we go. Shara Putidin Magomedov, and then we're moving on to Israel Adesanya, folks. Anything else I could share with you guys is Izzy's time is pretty much finished here. He should move up. That's it. Nasruddin has to clear the way, and he'll go from 5 to 2. And I hope to see him fight for a title here. I think the Frenchman can do it. He too will have to soon move up in weight as well. He's incredibly too heavy. But think about it, guys. Israel Adesanya versus John Blachowicz. Israel versus Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. I think that at 35, in the light heavyweight division, Izzy can pretty much secure the legacy and make up for that Sean Strickland and that loss to Dricus du Plessis. All right, you heard it here first. If you want any of the bets, fight predictions, summaries, you visit us at proschmobets.com. Catch you on the flip side.